right, boys and girls, I listen to you. I know that you love clay. So we're going to do clay because in South America, they love clay as well. It's from the earth. It's free. All they have to do is dig it up. And they, for thousands of years, have made amazing things out of them. Today, we're going to do something that's sort of traditional. Some of you may even have one in your backyard. It's going to be that we're going to be making ourselves a clay sun. You're going to form it yourself. And we are going to pray that none of these explode in the kiln, because usually we have to let these dry for a very long time. But this week I'm going for it. I'm like, let's do this. Let's go for it. So let me show you how we're going to go about making this clay sun. You're going to begin with a circle and a wad of clay. I'd like you to take the clay and just take off. You don't need tons. You're just going to put this off to the side and keep it for later. Maybe a little bit more, whatever. Then you're going to take this one and I want you to roll it into a ball. Now at no time do I want you to start adding water to this or anything like that, because then it's just going to turn into mud and we don't want it to turn into mud. Right now it is perfect. You're going to put this right in the middle of this circle. And your goal is to get this wad of clay to be the size of this circle. Now, let me tell you a few things we don't want. We don't want this to look like a hill with sloping sides coming down, where over here, this is super thin, and over here, it's super thick. Our goal is to try and have it be almost like a cookie, where it's the same thickness throughout. So you're gonna have a little rolling pin. Some of you may want to just, with the back of your hand right here, just kind of go like this. And I know that it's so hard that some of you are going to want to be funny and just like pound it to death. But even though it's kind of funny, what ends up happening is you're just going to dry out your clay and it's going to get ruined. So don't, because we don't want to keep having to do this over and over. So you kind of get it this far. Then what you can do is take a rolling pin like this and just go back and forth like here, almost where you're always pressing from the middle. Because if I'm like over here and I'm like, oh yeah, look at me go. Look at how big I made mine. No, because this is now so thin and that is just gonna crack like nothing. We don't want it to get thin like that. We want it to be like a cookie where it's the same thickness throughout. So I'm gonna get that back under control. Now I'm noticing I'm doing pretty good going this way, but not this way. So maybe what I'll do is just rotate it, take my rolling pin, and again, from the center, notice I'm kind of scooching here, get it going, and then bring it out, okay? By the time you're finished, hopefully you will have covered a little bit of the circle, but not much. I really don't want you to get much bigger than this. All right, once you've gotten this far, it's time for us to start planning out the rays of our sun. So you are gonna have a tool. Now, a whole bunch of people have different tools in the room, but they're all gonna basically do the same thing. If you have a side on this side you don't like, just go ahead and flip it over to the other side. But here's all you're doing, my friends. You're gonna go around the ends and you're just gonna cut. Like maybe every inch or so or something like that. You're gonna go around the edge here. Binga, binga, binga. Going around. And I don't want you to start forming rays like with the cutting out rays. We're gonna actually use the clay itself. Once you've gotten this far, personally, I find it easier to come underneath it and to hold it like this. This might, now I have a pretty big hand, so this might be a pain for you. If you don't like it that way, just leave it on, but just like try and lift up half of it. And you're doing it gently so that you're not starting to break it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab one of these and you're going to pinch it. Now, you're not gonna pinch it so much, look at here, I don't want you to do this, where you're like, look at how long my thing is. Again, this is going to become so thin, it's going to break really, really quickly. So all I want for you to do is to pick it up and pinch. And if you end up with something that's kind of thick like this, that is fantastic. So I'm just pinching it and leaving it kind of weird looking like that. Notice that I can see the lines of my circle here. So I'm going to come like this and come like this. I'm going to try and zoom in a little. And like this. So I'm just working my way around like this, pinching these edges. And remember, the reason you guys love using clay so much is because you are in control of the clay and you get to tell it what to do. So make sure that as you're doing this, you're not trying to be like super, super fast. Just like get it done and do it right, okay? Now that I have this done, I'm starting to get the shape that I'm looking for my son. So now what I'm going to do is kind of start to flatten it out and pin and form it into the shape that I'm looking for. Now, if you look at the idea sheet, you'll see that sometimes people turn their ray like that, where they have it kind of going at an angle. And sometimes they just have it going straight out. That's totally up to you. Yours could be going like, like that, like going all kind of in little directions. But notice that I'm making it almost like, what could this be compared to? All I'm saying is I want it to be thick. Do you see here how it's pretty thick? We don't want this to be super skinny. Or again, like I said before, it will break in the kiln. So I'm just gonna quickly go around here because I know some of you are like, I wanna do it. So I'm going around, and your counselors will be around to help you. Counselors, you're gonna keep an eye out for kids who are maybe starting to make their rays too thin or too long, and that they're just gonna get long, and it's not worth it, folks, because it just will break and be very sad. And we won't have time this week to fix it, so just do it right the first time. So here we go, fixing up this one. So I can either have them going straight out, or like I said before, you can kind of go like that. That is a weird one. I'm going to add a little bit of my extra clay. Let's fix that one up. All right, now time for the face. You can take your finger, and the clay is wet enough that you can just smooth this out, and it's so perfect. It's like your finger is an eraser. If you make a mark and you're like, I hate it, it's ruined. No, it's not. All you have to do is go like this, and then it erases it. So perfect. So awesome. So now let's talk about noses. What you're going to do is just take a little wad of clay here. And I like to just stick my thing in the middle. But if I do that, it's just going to fall off super, super quickly. So I need to take my fingers, and I'm going to blend it into the clay. And notice I'm just using the side of my fingers like this. And I'm trying to make it a little bit nosy, where it kind of looks almost triangular. And then when you see this kind of stuff, just kind of smear that out. You can go like this, get the bottom of his nose. You can go ahead and look at your neighbor's nose and go, oh, that's what a nose looks like. And try and, copy their nose if you like. And then I like to just use this little end on here. And if you don't have this on your particular tool, you can borrow it. You can just kind of push up and push up here on the bottom of the nose. And then it looks like he has little nostrils. See? So cute. Now, here's what's coming next. We're going to put on some eyeballs. So you're going to